At Valor, our mission is to empower our diverse community to live inspired and purposeful lives. When I think about what's most important with my own kids, I want them to have a real deep sense of who they are, to have a sense of purpose in their lives. So there's a lot of elements that go way beyond what I would call academic capacities, and that's definitely fueled the design of Valor. Some of the other models, I think they start with what does it take to be successful in college or in a career, and kind of back it down from there. Our model actually takes a different perspective and recognizes that by developing a whole human's capacities, success and achievement in those areas and in other areas is actually a byproduct. So we went back to a very simple model, which is essentially a mind, heart, body, spirit model, and really thought about what would it mean to develop ourselves in all those different core dimensions of what it means to be human. We loved the idea of the compass because it's such a powerful metaphor. Every scholar and every adult in the building is really working to develop their own balanced compass, which is their own way of making their way through their life or their day and helping them connect with their purpose and lead the type of lives that they want to lead. We took the dimensions of the compass, or what it means to be human, and then we laid a layer of what we call compass disciplines over the top. So at the top you'll see there's sharp mind, which is what excellence looks like in the mental dimension, big heart, which is what excellence looks like in the emotional dimension, noble purpose, which is the spirit dimension, and aligned actions, which is the physical dimension. And then in the middle there's kind of the balance point, or the center point, which we call true north, and that's the point where you balance your heart and your mind, and you balance your spirit and your body. So when we designed the school, we really wanted the compass to be at the center of all the different elements of our school, and I think we've been largely successful in that. Our discipline system, for example, is really built around this idea of being on compass or off compass at any time in our life. When you're off compass, thinking about ways that you didn't live up to your purpose and commitments, and repairing relationships and getting back on compass. Our academic classes are getting more and more integrated with the compass language, and we align essential questions. We align a lot of the academic work that kids are doing to the compass framework. We've really taken our compass and applied it to all the different elements so that it's deeply integrated into the fabric of the school. Because we put such a premium on relationships, we really did want to build the scholars' experience around being in a small group, what we call prides, which are groups of intentionally diverse single-gendered kids, about 20 boys or 20 girls in a group. We put a lot of focus on developing the social, emotional, and relational skills of the kids in those mentor groups. We also train our teachers really intentionally to kind of switch hats from the teacher to the mentor role and develop kind of a different way of being with kids so that they can develop those capacities both in themselves and the kids. Our compass phase work is essentially our social and emotional curriculum. So it's a self-directed, competency-based curriculum that we use. The Boy Scouts is a good analogy because a lot of people are familiar with it, and there's kind of a badging process that goes along with Boy Scouts. So we really like to think of the phase work as a journey. The kids will be engaged in this for 8 full years. There's many badges that they earn along the way, and then there's these big markers which we call phases. Kids are starting at the beginning, which we call this initial commitment phase, where they're really starting to commit to their own growth. And then they do make that commitment and they start to work and kind of uncover some of who they are. And then they move into exploration phase, which is where they start to really explore themselves at a deeper level. And then they move into the responsibility phase, which is where they start to take responsibility for leadership in their community at large. And then in the community phase, they really take that to the next level and work on being a bigger part of their community and impacting their community. Next, they move into the leadership phase, which is really embracing what it means to be a leader inside the school and outside the school. And then it culminates in the service phase, which is really bringing that leadership back into the service of other people and in the service of the community at large. I think that culmination of phases really is going to lead kids to having a noble purpose and inspired and purposeful lives. The kids are really working through their own set of activities and exercises at any given time. And they will be doing some of that at home, some of that in the community, some of it at school, and then they'll come together and present their progress or their work to their peers and get feedback from their peers on it. They do a variety of different things during that time, but the primary things that they do are individual coaching on their phase work, and then they spend a lot of time in what we call Circle, which is one of our core practices for developing social emotional competencies. Circle is a deceptively simple practice. It's really a group of people that really are sitting together for 30 to 60 minutes, just intentionally working on developing themselves or their relationship or making their community better. The Circle model is a different model for relating than we're used to. You're entering into kind of a public and transparent way of being together, and we're not really used to that. So when there's something going on in a relationship or some tension in a relationship, to have it be worked out in public in front of your entire community takes a lot of courage. So that transparency is really powerful. In order to facilitate this work with your kids, you really have to have an appreciation for the vulnerability that it takes. And so our faculty also do phase work, and so the way that our kids are working through these phases and bringing work into Circle, our adults are also doing that work and bringing it into Circle because they want to develop themselves and understand it so that they can lead it for their kids. And I think that's a really healthy dynamic. One of the biggest benefits of adopting a model like this is that it develops a cohesive culture across the faculty and the kids, where everyone's using the same language. In many ways, we're doing the same types of work. We're really all committed to developing ourselves in a particular way that isn't the norm in most schools. I think that we can learn from our kids and that our kids can learn from us by pushing ourselves in these realms to continue to develop.